Hello everyone, welcome to the War Zone. I'm Scruffy, and this is Scruffy Tales. And we're gonna take a quick look at some footage showing how American infantry fighting vehicles, the famous Bradley, launches a big mechanized assault against Russian positions in Kursk. We're gonna watch a clip here. We have a Bradley approaching a tree line. Let's go ahead a bit. As you can see, he's about to go. Whoop! We missed it. He's coming through Dragon Teeth and what have you, and a tank ditch. Passing a vehicle, burned out. Going across the tank ditch. And crossing a big wide open field. And this is where any vehicle, tanks included, will be extremely vulnerable. And shit is about to go down. Pop some smoke. Now this hides him from targets on the right. As you can see, he moved left. And he's now going to have to cross the field here. Putting down some suppressed. This is kind of weird. Now, take a look at this. He's going to use the tow launcher. Imagine if there's an enemy vehicle over there. Right? This is how long it takes to use a tow launcher. He finds a target. This is probably a bunker. He's going to use it against infantry. Against an entrenched position. Boom. That's going to cause some headaches. But it's not a fragmentation device. It's an anti-tank round. But that will take down a bunker or two. And you can see on the left here, fire support from a chain gun. Moving up. Let's see if we can speed things up. And here we go. Suppression as we're moving towards the tree line. You can see he's moving back and forth, so he doesn't have a clear target. That's suppressive fire. As you can see, that's suppression. He doesn't have a clear target. He's just making sure if there are Russians in there, they're keeping their heads down. Stopping, this is when infantry dismounts. Or as soon as he stops, they should dismount. Moving up here a bit. Keeps engaging targets in the tree line. No clear target, mainly suppression. And now infantry is dismounting, pushing in to set up positions within. Let's see, and this continues for a bit. A lot of gunfire. We're now moving away. And here we can see how they exfil. Well, this is actually when they're pushing in. We can see here Dragon Teeth. Hang on, I want to show you something here. Off to the side here, we have an open gap in the tree line. We have big fields with windbreaks coming down across these big fields to this thick tree line. And I'll use this as reference when we try and locate where this is. But here we have Bradleys are moving up. They're going to cross through the breach point here in their Dragon Teeth and then assault up this way. Smoke has already been laid to cover their approach. That means they believe there may be heavy anti-tank weapons off to the right here. They want to screen them from tanks, anti-tank guided missiles and what have you. Up here, their main worry will be RPGs and of course drones flying in. We have now breached. And here we go. He pops some smokes for some added protection. And turning sharply this way. Remember, they're covering their approach from the right side. This is where they don't want long-range anti-tank guided missiles flying in. And let's jump ahead here. You'll see that they get some cover fire eventually. So you got two Bradleys. And here we go, fire the tow missiles. You can see how thick the woods are here. Keep that in mind as we try and locate this location later on. And now we're taking shots over here. Third vehicle coming in. Opening fire at this point. This is not widespread, so this might actually be at Russian targets. But now you see as they're spreading things out now all along the tree line to keep Russian heads down. As they're moving in, jumping ahead, and take a look at this. Really need to see this. Take a look at this suppression coming in here. They're now approaching the tree line, and as you can see, that's super. Take a look at this. I didn't realize this. Take a look. Here we have a Bradley now, moving along. He's moving here, firing in the tree line, and this suppression. What? Right behind them. Maybe that is intentional. Maybe they want to suppress potential Russians as this one, this unit here is moving up. That could be it, but that's holy shit. Okay, and now they're stopping. Troops dismounting. So you got 2 Bradleys on the tree line. So you got 10, 16 troops in total between these 2 vehicles pushing into this tree line now to reach trenches and foxholes and clear them out of Russian troops. This is basic mechanized assault stuff. What you usually want to do is just hammer these positions here where you have the Russians with mortar fire as you're prior to moving up and as you're moving up. So let's head back. So at this position, hang on, here now we should be seeing mortar fire all over the place here. Even when they're this close, this is where you want mortar fire to keep their heads down all along the tree line, to prevent RPGs flying in, to prevent the tank-guided missiles flying in. Even now, when we're crossing the field, mortar fire, accurate mortar fire, should be hitting this tree line. And mortar fire should be stopping somewhere around here when he pops the smoke. You got more smoke coming in. Now is when mortar fire should stop, because now he is ready for that assault. Now he's going to make the push. And the last rounds should be dropping now, and as the infantry fighting vehicle takes over the suppression, there should be no more indirect fire. So that is the one thing that this assault is lacking, that indirect fire hitting this tree line as the vehicles are moving into position to storm the enemy trenches, as it's called, storming, as we call it in Sweden. But then we'll see if we jump ahead here as well. They are eventually leaving the vehicles. They've dropped off the troops, and then they skedaddle out of town. And the reason is obviously, usually, the reason is drones. If they stick around, drones will fly in and take them out. Inevitable. You can't avoid it in this day and age. But before 2022, they would have stuck around, supported the troops, added their chain guns to the firefight, and this would have been a very one-sided battle. But now with drones, these powerful units, as soon as the infantry is dropped off and are in the trenches, they have to move back and leave the soldiers on their own. Otherwise, drones will fly in and take out these 2 vehicles. So that is the difference when we're talking mechanized warfare before 2022 and now 2024, when drones have entered the battle space. Usually these vehicles would have stuck around and just kept pounding Russian positions, and then the infantry could move up and take one foxhole at a time. Now the infantry are on their own. There's like 10 to 16 guys here, and they're just gonna have to make do no matter how many Russians are in here. Scary stuff. And this is why we have this CV90 version, a mortar carrier with 2 120mm mortars in a turret that can follow the infantry fighting vehicles, Bradleys in this case, close to the front line. And as we make a push like this, these vehicles can just hammer enemy positions as the infantry fighting vehicles are moving and getting closer and closer. And then you need that combined arms communication when these vehicles, they need to stop the fire mission as the infantry fighting vehicles takes over and charges across the field into the enemy positions. So this is what the Ukrainians are lacking to make this a prime example of a mechanized assault. But they made it across, making use of smoke instead of suppressive fire, and the troops reached the objective, and hopefully they managed to establish a foothold and push the Russians back. So where was this taking place? If we take a look at Andrew Perpetual here for a moment, this is the Kursk incursion, and over here we have Ukraine advancing towards Vesiloy, and then they're falling back, and he has here Bradley damage, so obviously the Russians managed to land a couple of hits on Bradley's moving him this way, but I think this is the area where we saw these Bradleys assaulting. So if we jump on over to my map here, because we have, I don't know, we could have stuck with the Andrews map, but remember the gap in the forest I was talking about? That should be this gap, and as you can see, this thick forest compared to all the windbreaks here. So here we have no trees where the Bradleys could have moved through to reach the dragon teeth. So tree line, break in the tree line, and then the thick forest here on either side of the railroad. I think this is where we saw that action taking place. The Bradleys moving through a gap in the windbreak, dragon teeth, and then this is the field they crossed. They took a sharp turn north and assaulted Russian positions up here, which should suggest that Russia is indeed in control of this, or most of this area, not all of it maybe, but most of the area. And we had Andrew's map here, Bradley's assaulting here, indicating that Russia has indeed pushed down and are in control of this section of the railroad, where you have this massive thick forested line on either side of the railroad. So this is where we have seen Bradley's launching a big assault against Russian positions. I also want to return to the TOW missiles, anti-tank guided missiles here on the Bradley. It's just being launched on the left side of the image. As you can see in the video, it takes time to set these up, and it takes time for the missile to reach a target. And I mean, this is short distance. So if you can imagine a show an engagement between armored vehicles, IFVs, tanks, and what have you, when you're on the move, maneuvering, doing tactical maneuvering, the TOW launcher is, kind of dangerous towards the vehicle launching it, because you have to stand still, you have to remain in the open, and you have to remain in the open as you're guiding it in on the target, and that takes several seconds. And a tank or another vehicle only needs a couple of seconds to find you and open fire, and you may actually be taking shots that will destroy you while you're setting up the TOW and while you're guiding it in on target. So anti-tank guided missiles are excellent weapons for ambushes or overwatch, setting up support. I mean, say you have a Bradley behind at the dragon teeth. If that Bradley launches a TOW missile in support of the vehicles that are moving, then the TOW missile really shines, because then that Bradley is in that fire support position, overwatch, able to assist the assault. And the units that are actually moving up and need to advance, and they need to rely on speed, they don't have to stop and open fire. So the Ukrainians, it's a real gamble using TOW launchers where they are right now. That should really be handled by another unit further back in an overwatch position. They are also excellent weapons when you're expecting an assault. So say you are covering a road that you know the Russians will more than likely guaranteed be advancing along, setting up a couple of TOW launchers and just waiting for targets to appear, kind of like armored snipers. I mean, that is when anti-tank guided missiles truly shines, and that is when they will rack up kills like you wouldn't believe. But yeah, this kind of highlights the issues with anti-tank guided missiles in the middle of combat. Using them when you need to be tactically maneuvering, not the best idea. but as a support weapon that provides additional firepower to the assault element, I mean, chef's kiss, truly. That's it. I hope you found it interesting. I hope that gave you some insights into mechanized warfare, what Ukraine is lacking, what they need, and the way they are forced to handle the realities of the modern battlefield despite not having all the cool gadgets that the Western armies can field. Uh, anyway, that's it. I hope I'll see you in the next one. As always, go på marsch, Ukraine, and give them hell.